Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Film Hustlers.
Film motherfucking Hustlers, Davey,
I got it
Dave.
right that time. I got
You
it right
did.
this
You did.
time. I got to get my energy up because we've been talking about our stories and all this.
Normally, you're like an energetic dude.
I know. The thing is that when we develop, when you get into a conversation about developing, you get deep into characters. I don't know if have you ever seen Stearns and I get into the characters in our movies, in the Christmas movies?
I just see Stern stare, like a fucking blank stare.
Every once in a while, we'll get into a discussion about what's happening in a scene and how characters are looking at each other or whatever, and we'll like literally act it out, even though we're not saying the dialogue. Yeah. We'll be like, and then she says, and then he looks. Yeah. And then, we play it out. I remember.
You guys need to do some deeper shit though than Lifetime Christmas.
I remember. Well, I mean,
it's bound to happen.
We do.
Stearns wants to.
Oh yeah.
You know what? I want to thank God for the opportunities that I've gotten, and I'm never going to turn down a Christmas movie. If I keep getting them offered to me, I'm going to keep doing them, and I'm going to be grateful.
No, let me just say this. I'm not bad mouthing anything. I'm just saying you guys Stearns is a deep dude. Like Stearns, and so are you. After Roberts is all chill right now because he got all creative mode. I'm all hyped because I wrote an outline and Roberts is just ripping it to shreds.
No, let's talk about this. Okay, let's talk about this. First of all, I want to thank extrememusic.com, our partners over at extrememusic.com.
Russ Emanuel,
who's amazing, and the site he created with all the music on it that we can all use. It's funny because I was listening to a song that I picked for the movie, and it's this romantic dance that Jana Kramer's doing.
Yeah.
She's dancing by herself at night, and Mario shows up and he sees her dancing, and it's kind of like this song that's supposed to represent how he feels about her and what she's sort of going through in her head, and the whole movie sort of culminates in this one little moment when he's watching and she's dancing, and then the song is playing. Anyway,
I see that, Dave. That's a fucking creative producer right there. that most producers won't say that shit. They're like, yeah, we got a song. I don't know. Some guy picked it.
No, I couldn't find. I had a song in there. Oh, it was Bareilles. What's that singer's name? Something Bareilles. You know what I'm talking about?
Drake?
No. There's a female singer. Her name's something Bareilles. Anyway, she's super. I'm sure half the people listening know who she is. But the song that she originally performed to, which was beautiful. I think you guys were all there. It was a super popular song because I couldn't afford it. It was like $30,000 to get it for the movie, so that wasn't going to happen. So, when someone uses a song that was a hit from someone like an artist like that's hard to replace. That's not easy to replace, right? Because you just picked like a U2 song. So I went to Extreme Music one night, and I knew it wasn't going to be easy. I knew it was going to take me hours. I knew I was going to, I got my 3 waters. I got my tequila bottle. I put on my headphones. I sat on the couch, got comfortable, pulled Sadie over, and I sat down there, and for 2 hours, I punched in like romantic song, dance music, transition, emotional.
Now, do you go through the whole song, or do you just go, you like fast forward, you go to the beginning, the middle, the end, based off of what you're looking for?
I'll put as much of the song into my ear as I can, but I know if it's the right feel immediately, right? Because I'm trying to match a song's emotion that worked.
Right.
So anyway, I went through it, and like 2 hours of listening and kind of nope, and so I guess the answer is no, I don't. I listen to like about 10 seconds, and then I go to the next.
Well, yeah.
So
unless you feel something's there.
Yeah, I found this one song, and it was absolutely perfect. It was beautiful. It said the right words. It peaked at the right time. I was even able to take the tail of it, and as she sees Mario and walks outside onto the pavement, and they have a little conversation there where he says to her, "Hey, I was," where she's like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "Oh, I was trying to get, wanted to get a cup of coffee, but everything's closed." And she's like, "Oh, you forgot where you were." And he's like, "Yeah, well, actually, I didn't want to get coffee. I was thinking about you." And the end of the song carries that whole end of the conversation, and then we kind of duck it out right there, and then the score takes over. But sometimes music is magic. I think music is magic, and the more you invest your energy and time in finding the right cues for your movie and the emotions, and the more you try to marry those cues to other cues so that your music has an arc. I told my composer, not my composer on this movie, because he's we have a different relationship than I did with Dara on Holiday in Santa Fe. But I remember telling Dara on Holiday in Santa Fe, I said, I need to be able to close my eyes and enjoy the music, even if it's not connected to a scene. Yeah. And I think that's a key thing in making a movie and putting music to it. If you can close your eyes and hear the music to a scene or to your movie, and you're enjoying that, then your emotion and then the emotion in your music is going to translate to the emotion on the screen, and you're going to make magic.
Yeah, of course.
But sometimes that doesn't happen, and the only way to know if you've got a good cue is to close your eyes and just listen to your cue. Yeah. So in this case, it took me 2 hours. I finally found the right song. I played it for everybody. Everyone. Actually, there was no comment. That's how I know a song's good, when no one says anything about it. It just kind of passes the test, and it was awesome. But all the credit goes to Russ Emanuel and ExtremeMusic.com, because they do a great job of filling their website with amazing composers, with great music, with great cues, and good for them, man. They've done a great job.
You're a man, and we're going to be talking to Russ pretty soon, right?
Soon. We have to go to Pacific Palisades to go interview him, because he's sitting in his castle, in the Extreme Music Castle. He's sitting with all those cues.
Let's go to the castle. I'm ready to go to the castle.
I'm kidding. Russ lives, I'm sure, somewhere very nice, but it's not a castle. I think the verdict is in on the stories. We did the Pitch Fest. Yeah. Dave, you got some votes.
Oh, nice.
But did not prevail.
Okay.
I personally think that Revenge of the Mexican is a brilliant idea and story, and pitched
I love it.
Perfectly. Amazing. But there's something, look, I'm going to vote against myself here, because I like comedy. I do like comedy, and I think that it's interesting. But, when you're at a festival and you're in Aspen, or you're in Sundance, or you're in the mountains somewhere, and and you're watching movies, sometimes you want to sit down and watch something deep. You don't want to laugh at a festival moving all the time. Yeah. The best film festival movies I've ever seen have always been deep movies, conversations. And so that's why, my vote is going to go for your film, which I don't love the name currently. Your story. What's the name of it?
Dying to Know.
Yeah, Dying to Know. It sounds like a 30-minute sitcom. But that's not a knock on the story. The story is great, and I think your characters have a lot to deliver if we get the right actors to do it. I think you're talking about a film that likely, I don't know. I'd love to say it's not been done before, but I get the feeling there's not been a lot of films done on the subject,
right,
of a killer going to kill another guy, and they're Latinos, right? Yeah. So you can assume that they're cartel, you can assume that they're gang members, you can assume whatever you want about them, but at the end of the day, they're Latino characters.
Yeah.
And one of them's a witness protection, and he's been found, and he has to die. And I like that. And, I like that you created this thing that he might have dementia. You don't know if he does, because you don't know if he's playing everybody or if he's using it to his advantage. And then you've got the killer, who's going to be like this meticulous, to be a killer, to be a killer in a movie, you have to be meticulous. Right. You have to know exactly where your stuff is. You're prepared. It's kind of like Baby Driver. Remember Baby Driver?
Yeah.
He had to have his music in. He had to have all this stuff going. That's what I see a kill. If someone's going to come to kill me, I want them to be that meticulous.
Yeah. Well, I'm voting against my story. So
what?
Oh, what? Come on. No. Come on.
No, and plus we've had a lot of emails, a lot of DMs,
positive feedback.
Really?
Feedback.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
And I think we got to go with what people want. I think this is going to be a good one. Now I have some ideas for some actors.
Right.
I don't want to mention them and call them out here because they're probably listening. But yeah, I think we could do really well with that. It's an actor's piece. And I think we develop it into a beautiful movie that you sit all cold with your golden Schlager, in a theater at Sundance.
Golden Schlager, what's that? Goldschlager.
Oh, sorry. Is it not called Golden
Goldschlager.
I made it sound kind of sexual.
I was like, a golden Schlager? Is that like a fucking... What is that?
It's a donkey. No, Goldschlager. Is that what it's called?
Goldschlager,
The first time
That's fucking old school, Robert. It's like from the 90s.
The first time I ever went to Sundance, which was, I think, in 1997.
There you go.
96. We stayed at a condo, and there was Goldschlager, with the gold in it.
Yeah,
and I would
little
drink that at
flakes.
night. Oh, it's the best. Anyway, you want to see a movie that's this acting piece where the dialogue is detailed and pointed and that you relate to it, and that they give you twists like in The Usual Suspects or Seven or something like that. So I think I haven't done a movie like that before.
Yeah.
So I'm also trying to challenge myself as a producer and say like, hey, if we're going to do this, let's challenge ourselves to do something that's remarkable and exciting and an actor's piece, and let's get actors to. By the way, actors are going to want to do it. I think we'd have to work really hard to get great actors to want to do Revenge of the Mexican.
Right.
Because it's a comedy, right? The comedies are subjective. Not everyone. We could find it super funny, but you could sit in the theater and have 0 laughs. I'm not into that. I don't want to do that.
Yeah,
Right.
true.
Right. Well, I was on a cruise for 8 days in Alaska, had no Wi-Fi, which was kind of refreshing, and it was pretty good. And I decided to do a little outline.
Well,
of
you
what
never
I
put
thought.
your phone down, dude. You're always like sending like political memes all day long.
No, that's fucking me up. I got to quit that. I quit that. I retired from that. But I did a little outline of what, and I sent it to you guys. And
Yeah, I liked it. I think it's long.
there's some good. Well, yeah. I mean, I'm
There's
on a
some
boat
good
for 8
stuff in it.
days. What do you want me? And I have no Wi-Fi.
There's some
With 3 little kids.
There's some good stuff. Look, if you're listening, get your pencil and pen out,
Here we go.
or keep the show.
Get your typewriter.
listen to it. But no, look, part of the development process is talking about what you think are good ideas. I think the key for us to stay creative and to not get offended, right, is to just have an open table.
Yeah.
And to be able to say like, hey, these are things that I think could be really great about this story. This is what I think an actor is going to get attracted to, especially the ones that we're considering. And I personally think that this particular story that you come up with is going to require the actors to actually be involved so that they could decide what the detail of their characters are going to be. That way you could write something very specific to them, right? Because if you think about an actor like Edward James Olmos, and I'm not saying that he's doing it, but I'm just saying like someone like him. Right. When you have someone like him who historically, when he did Zoot Suit, he got offered Blade Runner.
Off a Zoot Suit.
I don't know off of Zoot Suit, but in that vicinity.
Right.
They wanted him. Ridley Scott wanted him. He met with him. He turned the part down. Said, no, don't want to do it.
Yeah.
And then Ridley called him again, said, really want you to do this. And he goes, okay, let me think about it. Then EJO said, I'll do it, but my character has to have a white eye.
Yeah.
And he has to be making little origamis while he's investigating, right? And God knows what else he came up with, the trench coat, like his, whatever he was wearing. So I think that, something to think about is that it's not always about what you're writing or what you're doing or what you want to do or what you think is great. Like, it's about the collaboration, about the conversation. Like, don't get offended when someone says, hey, this sounds shitty.
Spit it out.
And it can be better.
Yeah.
Then you have to be open to that conversation. And sometimes if you throw it all on the table, it goes back to what it originally was, because inevitably a good idea is going to win.
Right.
You throw a good idea, you throw a couple of bad ideas out, then the original idea may be the best idea, but you still have to let that process sort of happen.
Well, you said my shit reads like a CSI episode, David. That's fucked up. But hey, it's not bad, though. Fucking Dick Wolf, I'll
That's
take
what I'm
it.
saying. You're on the right track, Holmes.
First of all, I said Law and Order episode.
Oh, it's the same difference, right? Is there any difference?
You don't want to you don't want to sit in Sundance and watch a Law and Order
No,
episode.
I get it.
Guaranteed
Yeah.
you don't. You want to sit there and watch, some version of a
something you never
Tarantino
seen.
movie.
Well, something you never seen before, like you said.
Something you
that
haven't
you're
heard
not predictable.
before. Yeah,
something
something
that,
unpredictable.
And come out feeling some type of way in a movie.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
you think about filmmakers, great filmmakers, but you think about someone like Clint Eastwood. He's made westerns his whole life, so he decides I'm going to make another western, and it's going to be called The Unforgiven. And you're thinking, I mean, how different could another western done by Clint Eastwood be? And it's fucking amazing.
But you know what though? He's done
amazing. You know what? When you watch The Unforgiven, not when you watch it, when I watch it, I feel like he made a masterpiece.
Yeah.
It was nominated for, I think it won a bunch of Academy Awards. And I have to say that they must have had lots of conversations like we're having about this thing.
Yeah.
About what these characters mean, what they're doing,
Clint, if you're listening, we'd love to have you on the show. Davey, think we can make that happen?
Yeah. We'll DM him.
Okay, then slide into the DM.
Slide into his DM. I don't think he even knows what a DM is.
I'm surprised.
So anyway, we have picked Tootie's movie about old mobster or gang member or whatever with dementia in witness protection who
drug lord. Let's go drug lord.
Who a killer comes to end his life because of a debt that needs to be paid.
Yep.
And the rest is you'll have to pay to see it.
Yeah.
But so that's that. We're going to be doing that one. And I think, look, next steps for us, and again, if you're listening, this is next step for you. We've come up with the story. I think what we've decided to do, correct me if I'm wrong, David.
I'm listening.
What we've decided to do is we have a story that we're discussing that we like.
Right.
We have the characters. We have. We know that it starts off with two characters meeting, and we know that the end of this is someone's going to pay for it, right? Yeah. So we know that there's an arc already there. So what we want to do is we want to talk to some actors about helping create what these conversations between these two characters are going to be. So I think for right now, you're writing it.
Yeah, for now. I'll help.
We may decide to go elsewhere for writing, but I think it's important to get what you want to do as a director down. And since you're a writer, you might as well go ahead and at least blueprint it with the actors if we can bring these guys on board. Or at least one actor. Let's bring either the killer or the main character. Yeah.
The boss.
Or the boss. And then once that's in place, I think I'm going to start raising money.
There you go.
I already started making phone calls, kind of like touching base with people.
Yeah.
Hey, I talked to you about $1 million or $2 million, or I talked to you about $3 million. I talked to you about $5 million. You didn't have the appetite for it. We're doing something that's about 150, 200. You want to jump in? I'll use your product. We'll put it in there. What do you think? Here's what it's about. So I've already started having some conversations. Not super successful conversations, but I definitely started to practice my pitch.
Planting the seed.
Yeah, I got to plant the seed. You don't know. You got to start talking to people. Some people may be interested and just want to be part of something. You never know.
Yeah.
But you're going to get invited to an event. You're going to get invited to a party or something. And there's going to be potential investors there, and someone may tell you, hey, that's so and so, and they're involved in film or in television, and they love to invest in movies or whatever. And you may get introduced to them. I, personally, there's no right answer, because it's kind of like the day I met Tom Beers. I had to go after him the minute. The game plan that day was do or die, so I had to go talk to Beers, and I had to do 2 shots of tequila with him, and I had to say,
Did he know though?
Can I have your support? Yeah, he was there to invest. He was there to support the Almaraz.
So it's like walking into a brothel. You don't need to make small talk. It's just like, hey, you ready?
It was just a matter of how. I think it was a matter of how much, and you don't know for sure. You don't know. You don't know if someone's gonna look at you and go dude, I'm trying to enjoy myself here, and you're asking me for money. It happens, right? You don't know. People sometimes are like, hey, can we not talk business? I'm trying to have a drink.
That happened to you?
Yeah, many times.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, many people get kind of weird about money, and they have a right to. A lot of people earn their money. A lot of people are pretending to have money and don't want to talk about it because they don't really have the amount that you think they do, and that's embarrassing. So there's lots of different things. But anyway, I think the point is, sometimes if I'm at an event and someone goes, hey, there's an investor I want you to meet, I will not talk business or money of any sort with that person the first time I meet them.
You know what this reminds me of, Dave? When you first start going out, you know what I mean? And you're at the bar or the club and you're trying to get digits and you're like that.
Yeah.
And then you got the smooth OG in the background who just, and next thing you know, the fine chicks are kind of around him and he's kind of like, just being suave, sipping on his scotch. Somehow he bounces alone and ends up banging some hot broad later on that night who was there.
That's how it goes.
Well,
that's how it goes.
It didn't quite happen that way, but I think, but I think sometimes it becomes, I think movie making and the right and timing and the right people it's a serendipitous sort of thing.
Well, there's a romance there.
Yeah, there's definitely a bromance. Hang on, speaking of, but yeah, sometimes there is a simpatico that happens. And you're not going to know it right away. And it's very easy to step in it right away.
Right.
Because you don't know what people are feeling. And, you got to let them go home and think about, like, oh, I remember talking to Tootie.
Yeah.
That guy Tootie was cool. What does he do again? Oh, he makes me, oh, really? And then someone else tells them you got a project. And next thing you know, you're on the phone talking about it. But yeah, sometimes it's a blind date and it's a setup, and sometimes it's not. But whatever you do, find out what other people do first. Yeah. Hey, what are you doing? What are you up to?
Yeah.
What's happening in your life? Like, oh, you invested in this thing. What's happening with that? Oh, well, we're taking it here and there, and we've been doing real good with it, and looking to do other things. And oh, that's great. Congratulations. That sounds amazing. And then you go like, hey, I'm gonna go do. I'll see you later, and then you move on with your life, and hope that that it comes around. I mean, there are other people that will tell you. Go for the jugular every time, but I don't think
I want to say, like,
think that works.
Don't be desperate, but at the same time, people are going to invest in you. So if you're passionate, without hitting them up for money, because my buddy, I know he's a good dude. Like, we ended up exchanging numbers, and we've texted back and forth. In fact, he invited me to like a Dodger game last night. I couldn't go. But we're supposed to meet up and talk about. He watched my short. He didn't get back to me right away. It took him like a week because I thought, oh, okay, whatever. And then he got back to me. He loved it, and he was like, "Send me over something to read." And I'm interested. I'm definitely interested.
Well, that's how you do it too. You just sort of you work your way around the conversation, and you exchange some emails, and then you maybe have dinner. You start talking about what really happened.
So getting back,
really
like,
you can do.
So raising money like that and approaching investors, you just kind of have to feel the room or feel out them. Like, hey, nice to, like, is it everybody's different?
Well,
or?
In that particular case, I didn't really go to the event to meet an investor. That wasn't what I was there for, right?
Right. So
I didn't feel like I had prepped myself for a conversation about a project.
Right.
Someone said, like, hey, here's Tootie, or he invests in film and he does his own movies or whatever. I wasn't going to hit you right away, right? Because that's not why I went. So I just said hello, and and other people told him what I do, and then eventually it sort of came around that we were probably made for each other.
Did he come to you later and said, hey, man? Or did it just kind of...
No, we got together for dinner because I think that there was a project that made sense for all of us.
Okay.
And we got together for dinner, and that went well. And then the script got passed out, and then it got read, and then we started a more formal conversation about it. But that's going to get passed on to Walter Batt, and Walter Batt's going to do his thing and make sure that we can make this happen. But yeah, I mean, I think that if you're looking for money and you're new at it, just ask everybody if you can. If you know someone's very wealthy and you know that for sure, then take your time with that person. That person doesn't want to be forced into anything. They're going to ask important questions like, hey, where do you plan on selling this? Who do you plan on having in it? Have your conversation ready.
Yeah.
I mean, look, my whole life they've asked me, how are we going to make money? Right. And my answer, unfortunately or fortunately, has always been like, look, we're going to make the best movie we can make, and we're going to sell it to the highest bidder. If it's independent.
Yeah.
That's how we're going to do it.
Yeah.
Right? So if your appetite is, can I make my money back? I don't know the answer to that question.
And you know what? They probably like that because that's completely honest.
If we make a great movie, then who knows what can happen. But if you're looking for a 5% gain, like the stock market, it's not going to happen in film. And if you don't have an appetite to lose the money that you're investing, then it's going to be a tough road.
Yeah.
And you don't want people blaming you, right? You don't want to take someone's $100,000 or $1 million and lose it and then be like, oh
sorry,
well.
my bad.
Yeah, no, you don't. You want to treat it like if it's as important to you as it is to the person who earned it.
Well, it is, because it's your reputation too. Like,
right.
You don't want to get known as the guy who just, takes money from people and puts out shitty work. You gotta do your end, which is make the best possible movie you can. And if it turns out to be great and it's a festival darling and it gets sold for a shitload of money.
The last thing I'll leave you with, as it refers to making projects, independent projects in this day and age, I think it's important to do projects that are unique, that are different. When I did Strangers with Candy back in the day with Dave Letterman, it was an independent film, but it was so specific and so unique and so funny, written by Stephen Colbert and Amy Sedaris and Paul Dinello, that we knew that we were doing something so unique that you weren't going to see in a 10-year span. You weren't going to see a movie like that. So as a result of that, we knew that we were probably going to get into Sundance, and we did. Yeah. So we knew that because it wasn't like anything. It was I don't know, you could consider it sort of an experiment in a way, because it was based on a TV show that was really belligerent and funny and outrageous, So, plus we had Sarah Jessica Parker, Matthew Broderick, we had Chris Pratt, I can go on and on. Allison Janney, Sir Ian Holm was in it. We had amazing people in it. And they all came out to do it, same reason. The script was amazing. The script was unique. The script was something that they weren't going to get to play every day.
Right.
They always get asked to play the same characters over and over and over again. So if you've got a script that's unique, different, that's going to let them really sink their teeth into a character they don't normally do, you're going to do a movie that is going to make some noise.
Right.
Yeah.
And get you actors that want to be part of it. Why? Because they don't get to do that often.
Right. And you can get big names because you're doing something outside of their box, so to speak, and they want to do it. They want to break that.
That's why I like your story so much, because they're Latino characters, but, a meticulous killer, that's clever. The specificity of that character could be so unique that it's not just a stereotype.
Right.
You could really turn it into something special, and I think that's going to be attractive to people. Same thing with the boss. The boss could be very unique, very different than anything you've seen before, and as a result of that, I think you'll get some good actors. So look, I think lots of good conversation about your project. We've picked one, guys. So
thank you.
We're looking forward to move forward. We're going to have some guests the next couple of episodes, but we will also be talking about what our plan is here, and I think we'll make some announcements as to what actors we're going to be meeting with, and if we've met with them, and what the next step is for the script. And this season we'll be raising money on the show, so you'll be able to hear it all here on Film Hustlers.
Very good, Roberts. Yes, sir. I think it was that long.